What is going on, guys? I just left the hardware store, so let's go make a knife.
Bluetooth. Waiting for
It's gonna be loud.
Bluetooth is connected.
I'll just talk to you when I get home. I know you can't see me because my tripod's not cooperating at the moment. And in just a few moments, I'll show you what we got. And I will show you what we will be doing, or what my idea is. At the moment, my garage is kind of a mess, so I can't really do anything in a mess. So I'm cleaning. Because I have about 15 different projects that I'm like in the middle of, but haven't ever finished any of them. And so everything's just everywhere. Like there's this bike that I talked about in the last video, which the more I think about it, the more I'm just gonna scrap the bike altogether. There's this trailer with the hub that I should probably put back on there before I run in the table saw or do anything like that. All of this wood is actually for a throwing knife target that I've just never started, and then I've got like miscellaneous stuff from other projects that are finished but never got picked up after or whatever. So, alright, so I've made one knife before, and it was this one. Now this one's not pretty. I put it's not a patina, I basically like wore it in a little bit to prevent some of the rust from happening on there. I actually haven't sharpened it since then. This knife's not beautiful, but it is very functional. It's the exact size that I wanted. That said, I want something a little bit nicer. I actually started this as a project as a video that never finished. It was essentially a making a knife spending essentially $0. This blade was a saw blade. This wood is actually, here's actually a small piece. This is what it looked like before it got worked. It is a pink eucalyptus. It smells amazing to work with, very hard wood. And then I have steel rod inserts on here. So I spent zero money making this. This was the first sheath I made for it. This is an old cowboy boot, like the shank of the boot. The only money I spent on this entire project was I needed a glue for the leather to glue the pieces together before I sewed it, which was multi-purpose. If you have super glue, you'll be fine. I bought snap so that I can add a retention thing, because I did not design this knife to have native retention in a leather sheath, especially one that I'm using recycled leather for. And then I bought this hemp string because I thought it'd be thick enough, which it was, but hemp string doesn't burn like to melt like a nylon will. It literally just burns, so you can't burn the ends, and it turns out ugly. So I did end up buying a leather kit and leather and making a different sheath here, which you can see right here, and it works really well. Doesn't have amazing retention, but it did have better retention than this did, so I'm happy with it so far. That said, now that I have a little bit of experience, making knives and sheaths, we're gonna try again. Alright, so everything's put away in there, except for our 10-inch flat file, which is the one we are going to be using. I also picked up a couple other things here. I picked up some quick weld, which is like a 5-minute epoxy, which will hopefully be good for putting handle scales on, if I use handle scales on this. Went ahead and cut the back off, did it off camera, I just happened to do it. Probably not going to do too much tonight. Amanda is sleeping and it's a little bit louder than I expected it to be. I don't know why I expected it to be quiet, but for some reason I did. So the back needs a little bit of trimming, but we can do that later. Not too worried about that. I did water it down every 15 to 30 seconds or so, and I would keep it in the water, pull it out periodically until the steam would stop sizzling off to make sure it didn't overheat at all. And then what I did is I took some masking tape that happened to be the same diameter as the same width as my my blade, and I got this design marked out. So we're gonna go with a straight back design, so I don't gotta do too much on the top. I can keep as much of the file as I can up top. So it's gonna go straight back, because all this blue right here is going to get removed essentially, and this is about where my ricasso is gonna go. This gives me a good spot to hold onto it, and then I'll have that jimping from the file teeth right there up top if I need it, which will probably stop at about that ricasso, maybe a little bit past it, just for the style. So just gotta cut these off. So what we're gonna do is cut slits like this. Alright, so that's going to take a lot longer than I expected. It's going to be a lot louder than I want it to be right now. So, I'm going to be a good husband and not do that right now, and do what I said in the last video that I was going to do, and we'll talk about the bike. Alright, so this bike is a Giant Revel 2. If I remember correctly, this was like a 2013 model. I bought this in the end of 2019, right before the pandemic hit, and I bought it as a stock bike. I bought it, everything was there. The only thing it was missing was the bracket to the rear brake. The rear brakes came with it, but weren't installed because it was missing the bracket to install it. So that kind of forced me real quick to learn about disc brakes and mountain bikes, which I wanted to do anyway. I actually had a bike prior to this one that I didn't have very long. I knew a little bit about mountain bikes. I had done like a 1x train conversion to it. Was riding it to work on the weekends because at the time I lived a mile away from work. And one day I got stolen from work, and my job, the security, had apparently chased him down and stuff, and like knew that it was stolen, but didn't tell me. I actually got off my long shift, and I worked nights at the time, so I wasn't off till like 10 or 11 at night. Walked over to my bike where it was locked up, and my lock was there, but my bike wasn't. Words are hard. Went up to security, I said, "Hey man, what's going on?" And like, "Oh, that was you?" Yeah. So, good job security. What is how I bought it. So we will start from the front down and go back. So, starting here, we have these Pacific Northwest Loom grips. I really love these. They're lock-on grips. They work great. Just fantastic grip. I actually like these so much that when I built my brother's bike, which was the one he was riding, he's got these same ones in blue. Ironically, he has the same pedals, but in black. So we kind of swapped colors. It was kind of funny. But moving over, I have the Magura MT Trail front and rear brakes. I think the fronts are a 2-piston brake, and the rear is a single piston, or the fronts are 4 and the rears are 2, sorry, because there's one on each side. And then from here I have a box 2 shifter, which if you know anything about mountain bikes, that means the rest is going to be box 2 as well. These are Raceface Atlas bars in 35 mil. 35 mil bars are a little bit thicker in diameter right here where it clamps. That is designed for like the hardcore like downhill stuff. Like if you've ever seen the Red Bull Rampage stuff where they do those huge jumps and stuff in the Utah desert, that's the kind of bar, like the size bars are running. I'm not doing that. I just saw these bars and the color of this particular color is called Cash Money, and I was like, well, hot damn, I gotta get me some of them. So I did. Didn't realize they were 35 mil bars, so I bought them and got home. So my stem didn't work, this part, so I had to go buy a stem. I happened, by chance, to find another Race Face Atlas stem, which is Race Face Atlas bars and Race Face Atlas stem. So that kind of worked out. This one's a little bit smaller, like reach-wise, than I would prefer, but it works really well. It's very responsive. I have a custom top cap here, Hardtail Ripper. That was my YouTube channel when I was doing mountain bike stuff. Coming down here, we have Fox 32 forks, which are very dirty because I haven't cleaned up after my ride. But it's a 120 mil travel fork, which when it comes to air forks, that's like bare minimal travel. But I got these on a deal. And the reason these are hard to find is because the whole bike is a 26-inch wheel, and they don't make those bikes anymore, except for like dirt jumpers, which eventually I would like to build a 29-inch bike and then buy a 26-inch dirt jumper frame and just throw all these good parts on there and then put some of the other stuff on, like the 29 if I build a 29. Anyway, coming down, these are Stan's Crest wheels, I guess. They work. They're like the only tubeless ready wheels that you could really find for a 26. So there's that. And then I'm running the Continental, what are these? The Trail King tires. People say Continental tires aren't great or aren't good. And I'll say they're not great, but they're good. I like them. Something about me though is I like to see wear on tires and grips and stuff, like the wearable items that, like the rubbers and stuff that actually wear, or like on a BMX bike, like pegs and stuff. I like to see the wear. I don't want something that's gonna last me forever, but I also don't want to wear out and, you know, pop the first time. So these Continental tires do wear fairly quickly in comparison to other brands. So yeah, it kind of helps me feel like I'm doing something, I'm riding good. So that's why I'm sticking with Continental. Once these go, or once I get different tires, whenever that time is, which might be sooner rather than later, tell you about that later when we get to the back, I'll probably get something else. I do have these custom blue valve stems here to match the theme. The blue theme kind of started with the forks, and then I ended up getting a blue stem or cap there, so that kind of started the whole blue thing. Oh, I forgot, I have the Pacific Northwest Loam, whoever, so P&W, same people who make these grips, got their lever here for the dropper post. I will show you guys that in a second. This was the only color I was able to find that wasn't like way off base from the blue color I was going with, so that's why I got the gray with gray. But yeah, this is a medium frame, and I'm actually a tall guy, but coming from riding BMX bikes, like I've sat on like large frames and extra large frames like I'm supposed to. They just don't feel good to me because I'm used to having like a smaller bike and have things closer. Moving back though, I have the WTB Coda seat saddle. So saddle when it's a mountain bike, I guess. The seat if it's BMX bike, I don't know. The P&W matching with the lever and the grips, mainly the lever, dropper post. Now, if you're not familiar with the dropper post, I will show you what that does. I'll just show you right now. So, a dropper post, I'll try to do this one-handed. This lever allows me to raise the seat when I push it, or also if I'm pushing it, and if I sit on it, which I'm holding camera, it'll go all the way down. So, what that does is that, let me put this bike back up. So what that does is if you're climbing up a hill or a mountain or whatever, you want to be sitting down and pedaling, or if you're just riding on flat, you don't want to stand up, you want to sit down. But if you're going downhill, like down a mountain, you want the seat as far away from each as you can, so you can move and maneuver around the bike because you're going to be standing up for that. So the dropper post does is allows you to kind of have on-the-fly adjustments to wherever you want your seat when you're riding constantly. I use that a lot. I use that lever more than I use my brakes or my shifter combined, I think. Use it a lot. Anyway, moving on. This is a Wolf Tooth just seat post clamp, just because it matched the blue theme, little white, which I haven't really used in a while. And coming all the way down here, these blue pedals I mentioned, these are by a company called Raceface, and they are the Chester pedals, so the Raceface Chesters. Really good pedal. These are just some Amazon Chinese cranks. I happened to break. Shh, you're loud. I happened to break one when I was riding, like right as I got the bike, and that was what I found. I had a different sprocket, but then I changed to this. If you look, it is a 10% oval. So what that means is this is actually not round. It is ovaled by 10%. What that does is it gives you more efficiency when you're pedaling. I won't get into the science behind that. If y'all care, leave a comment. I will get all into the bike sciences and stuff. I'll make a series dedicated to like bike science, because for the past, I don't know how long, we'll say 15 years, I've been riding bikes, whether it be BMX bikes or mountain bikes, and I've even dabbled into road bikes and learned something about that. Like all the bicycle stuff, I kind of have a general idea on most of. So, not an expert, not all an expert, but I have an idea. I can explain most of it. Anyway, moving to the very rear, we're running the same Continental Trail King tire, the same Stans crest or whatever I said it was wheel. This here, actually it's on the other side more, is the reason, if you look, I'm thinking about upgrading tires, because this one's just a little thick, a little wide. I love my tires. These are a 2x4, so it's, I think that's in like inches, maybe? I don't know what that measurement is actually off the top of my head. But the bigger the number, the wider it is. For reference, like my BMX bikes are, I think my fattest tire is a 1.3 or a 2.3, and these are 2.4, so these are very fat. Also running a tubeless, same back valve stem. Tubeless just allows you to adjust your tire pressure, a lot like off-roading. If you go off-roading or in a Jeep or something, you want to lower your tire pressure so that you can go over rocks easier, and it's a little bit extra cushion and grip. Same thing on a mountain bike. You adjust your tire pressure to what you're riding. Anyway, back here I have the Box 2 Prime 9 cassette with a box chain, and the Box 2 derailleur. That's about it. What did I miss? Oh, I'm running 180 mil brake rotors. Those are actually very small for modern bikes, but this is a smaller wheel set. I'm a smaller guy. I don't really need the extra braking, although I am considering upgrading my brakes. Yeah, I'm gonna quit babbling. I'm gonna end it off here. Thank you guys all for watching. I know this video is kind of all over the place, mostly just me talking to a camera in my garage, not really doing much, but it is what it is. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Enjoy the rest of your days, and have a good night.